Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first video besides the introduction on the YouTube channel. This is exciting stuff. So, like I said in the introduction, I'm currently addicted to this game, Factorio. It is amazing. And I'm going to just be upfront with you right now. I've played about 300 hours of the game, which sounds like a lot, and it is. But the thing about this game is, like a lot of competitive games, 300 hours still makes me feel like I don't know very much. Like if you browse the Reddit community around Factorio, thousands of hours is very common in that community. Now obviously Reddit is the minority, right? Most players will, in this case of Factorio, launch their one rocket and probably be done with the game, right? I've launched a couple of rockets, but I still wouldn't consider myself a super pro. Now that said, I have watched other YouTubers' tutorial videos, and they are awesome, especially once you get a little bit of gameplay under your belt. They're very easy to understand, they're very good, and they do have thousands of hours. So they understand the game at a much better level than I do. So why am I making a video? Well, the main drawback to watching those other YouTubers is because they have so many hours, they've kind of forgotten what it's like to even start this game. So they're really good at explaining what they're trying to go for, what they're trying to achieve. They're not very good at explaining how they're achieving it. They're usually just plopping down blueprints, which are pre-planned. You know, they're blueprints, pre-planned arrangements, and then they just build the blueprint, and then that's how they do the thing. But they don't really explain very well how the blueprint does the thing. So what I want to do is I want to kind of take this from a different perspective. I want to take this from you're a brand new player, you want to start the game, you want to learn the controls, and you want to learn how to play it your way, right? Not follow awesome blueprints. And I will say, a lot of these people's blueprints are awesome. Catherine of Sky's blueprints are my favorite. Nilaus's blueprints are very popular. There's a whole website called, I think, Factorio Prints. So many blueprints out there. The community is amazing at making the most efficient stuff you've ever seen. It's incredible. But this game is most fun when you're figuring it out yourself, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through the tutorial stages that Factorio has built in, and I'm going to try to explain what it is that I'm doing as much as I can. And if you have any questions as I'm going through this, or if you feel like I missed something, please put them in the comments below. I would love your feedback, and I would love the opportunity to teach you something that I may have missed. So, yeah. With that said, let's go ahead and dive right in, right? So first, I'm just going to briefly show you my settings. I'm not going to explain each and every setting. I'm just going to point out a couple of core ones. Feel free to browse the settings yourself. Oh, and before I dive in, one final thing I just want to mention. There is a demo of this game. Well, they call it a demo, but, you know, there's a demo of this game that is free to download from their website. So I'll go ahead and just leave you to Google their website, right? You know, just Google Factorio's website or whatever. But there's a free demo that you can download. And the demo gives you access to the tutorial stages that we're going to be walking through. And then from there, if you like the game, you can go and purchase the full game on Steam or from their website or whatever, right? So, and the tutorial stages get really in-depth. You can get a lot of hours just in the tutorial stages. So trust me, the free version is definitely worth checking out. They're not, you know, you aren't getting the full game. You're not even getting like half the game, but you're still getting a lot of playtime in, and you're getting a good feel for how the game operates. So definitely recommend getting the free demo and giving it a shot, because, I mean, the only thing you have to lose is your time. It's free. So yeah, anyway, let's dive into settings. Oh, one other thing too. The game supports mods. Tons of awesome mods out there. I'm not going to use any of them. At least not for these videos as of yet. I'm not going to use any of them, but there are so many good mods out there. So feel free to explore that as well. Anyway, settings. So graphic settings, I'm just running everything at full basically, but I turned off VSync because screw VSync. But I'm just running everything at full because YouTube video, I want it to look as pretty as it can look. For controls, I didn't change anything in controls. Sounds, I just, you know, lowered the master volumes. That way I can hear myself think while recording. Interface is kind of where things get a little bit interesting. So I don't remember what the default settings are, I'll be honest. but you can just kind of see here what I've got. A couple of key things to point out is I enabled everything in alt mode, all the information. Alt mode is basically it's a mode that you turn on where everything shows an icon of what it's doing, right? So if you have an assembler, a assembly machine that's assembling a resource, right, or assembling a part, the alt mode will tell you what that assembly machine is making. Unlike here on the screen, right, you can see there's an assembly machine, but you don't really know what it's doing. You turn on alt mode, it will tell you what it's making. So I like all the information I can get, right? So I turn on alt mode, I want to see everything. So I turned everything on. A couple of other things that I know I turned on is I turned on pick ghost item if no items are available, because sometimes I like to plan things out a little bit, even if I haven't crafted everything for it yet. So ghost items are helpful to help you just plan things if you want. Let's see, what else? What else? Oh, here for active quick bars, I think it defaults to 2, and 2 is fine, especially for the tutorial levels. But later on down the line, I found that I just wanted more. It's basically a bar that's going to show down here in the center, or a section down here in the center, and this is just the number of rows where you can set quick access items. So I like that a lot, so I bumped it up to 4. You can start with 2, experiment, see what you like. In other, I just updated it to every 10 minutes instead of every 5, but you can do whatever. I also enabled Blueprint Library Cloud Sync, just so that way if I play Factorio on a different machine or anything like that, I can get my blueprints out of there. There was one other setting. I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, it's part of alt mode, so I already kind of covered it. I just enabled everything. But yeah, those are the main settings that I want to call out. Again, feel free to explore what they do. It's all good. Alright, so single player, new game, and we're going to go into tutorial here. And you can see I've already completed them all, but I'm just going to go ahead and run through them anyway. In this video, we're probably going to do Crash and Mining Outpost, because Crash is really short. It takes like 2 minutes. So we're going to hit Crash and hit play. So what I've done is I've reset all of the tips and tricks kind of thing, so we'll read through those as those pop up too. That way we're kind of going through it as if we're new. Alright, so that escape pod saved my life. I'm afraid the others were not so lucky. This window will occasionally pause the game, giving you some hints. You can continue the game by pressing tab, so tab it is. Can always find the current objective in this window. I'll be honest, I never look up here. When you're playing in free play, your objective is to launch a rocket. That's your objective. So there's no reason to look up there. In the tutorials, you have different objectives. So you can look up there during the tutorials, and that kind of makes sense. Use WASD, really common if you've played games before. You can scroll mouse wheel in and out to zoom in and out. I like to play pretty zoomed out because I like to see what's going on. Too zoomed in, and it doesn't make a lot of sense to play zoomed in. Alright, so check to see if there's something useful in the escape pod. Move close and press left click to open it. So I'm going to immediately talk about alt mode here because, again, I like just playing with alt mode on. So you push alt on your keyboard, and now you can see, oh, there's these gears inside of this container here, and it's showing you this container has gears in it. Awesome. You can see that nothing else really has anything in it, just this does. So we'll follow the instructions up here, we'll run over there, we'll left click, and it's now open. So move the iron gear wheels from the escape pod into your inventory. What you're probably going to want to do at first, just until you get used to the controls, is literally just drag and drop it in there. And then you can use E to close the window. There's a couple of other things as well in order to do inventory management, and those tips will come up in later tutorials, and I'll cover it then. But for now, let's close that, and we'll call it good. There's nothing else here. I'll have to make some simple tools myself. Lovely. So what do we got to do? Looks like iron ore over there. Yep, so we've got 3 different materials here, right? We've got iron, we've got stone, and we've got coal. There's other materials in this game as well. Trees give you wood. There's also copper, but again, tutorial level 1, they don't want to overdo it. So move to the iron ore deposit and hover the cursor over it. There we go. When you hover over an entity, useful detailed information appears in the tooltip up here. So when you hover over it, you can see, oh, it's iron ore. This little patch has 600 iron ore in it. You can smelt these into iron plates, all that fun stuff. So now it's teaching us how to mine by hand, which is lame, but we got to do it. Obviously, Factorio is a game about building factories. You're going to want to automate this. But right now we have literally just a couple of gears. We can't do squat, so we do have to manually mine this. So hold down right click and mine until you get 5 of them. 2, 3, 4, 5. A couple of things to note is you can interact with things relatively far away, but there comes a certain range. Let me try to find it where you can't really interact with it anymore. About here. So right here is basically the range you can interact with. You can't mine that far away, but you can interact with objects and stuff that far away. Mining, you have to be basically like 2 squares away from it. Alright, so we want to craft a stone furnace, right? So we open up our menu with E. Opens up our inventory and our crafting menu at the same time. So on the right hand side is your crafting menu. You can left click on the recipe to craft 1 of those items. You can right click on the recipe to build 5 of those items, and you can shift left click on the recipe to build as many of those items as you have materials for and inventory space for. So it wants us to craft the stone furnace, but we can't. I don't have the ingredients. So if we hover over it, we can see what ingredients it needs. It needs 5 stone in order to make the stone furnace. Now the reason why we want a stone furnace is because it smelts raw materials into their smelted products, right? So it's going to turn our iron ore into iron plates. So that's why we want it, right? We want to take our ore and convert it into something that's usable. And iron plates, as you'll come to find out soon enough, are very, very usable. We love iron plates. But yeah, so we need 5 stone. So let's go ahead and mine 5 stone. 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, and let's make our stone furnace. Boom. So we left clicked on it, and then you got your crafting queue down here. A lot of people just call this pocket crafting or the pocket queue. You're basically crafting in your pocket. You know, eventually we're going to make assembly machines, and they're going to automatically craft things for us. But anything that you're crafting for yourself in your pocket is down here in the bottom left. So yeah, this is your crafting queue. You can left click on an item in the queue if you want to cancel it. You can right click on an item if you want to cancel 5 of those things. Or you can shift left click on it to cancel all of those things. So yeah. Now you want to select the stone furnace and build it on the ground nearby you by pressing left click. The indicator will appear green if a building is possible. So we select it by left clicking on it. We push E to close the menu. And now we can place our stone furnace. So it doesn't tell us where we're going to place it. I'm just going to slap it right here in the middle because why not? One of the things I also just want to mention is I'm not going to show you guys the most ideal way to do things all the time. I might do a couple here and there just because I'm a lazy guy and I want to get through some of this quick. But, you know, again, I want to try to promote the idea that you can figure this out yourself, and there are more efficient ways of doing it than what I'm showing you. Anyway, we want to open the stone furnace by pressing left click so we can open it up. You can see it's blinking red because it's lacking fuel, and I'm sure the tutorial will get there. Now it's asking us to put the iron ore into the resource slot of the stone furnace. The resource slot is here. And then it will burn fuel in order to fill this progress bar and eventually output something. And we have a new tip here. So this is what I meant by resetting the tips and tricks. Occasionally, as you progress through the game, it will give you these tips about ways to do things faster or better, right, than what you're currently doing. And it's pretty smart about trying to figure out what it is that you're trying to do and then give you tips accordingly. This is just the introduction, but we'll go through it anyway. So yeah, welcome to Tips and Tricks. It will explain game concepts in a visual or interactive form. Tips are unlocked as you progress the game and also by completing the tips. If you want to see them all from the start, you can use the console command /unlock tips. And then mark that as red. To open the console, just as a heads up, and we'll go through these over time. But to open up the console, it's the, what's that key called? It's the one to the left of your 1. It's the little squiggly icon. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but anyway, you push that. It's just to the left of your 1 key. And it opens up the console. And then you can do console commands in there. Some console commands will disable achievements, so I tend to not use them, but you can if you like. I used a console command to reset the tips. Alright, so I already talked about alt mode, but let's see what the game has to say about it. So, additional info or alt mode. If you press left alt on the keyboard, you can toggle detailed info overlay, also known as alt mode. So when it's off, you can see that no icons or anything shows up. You don't know what's in the box. You don't know what this is assembling. You don't know which direction this is outputting. Very easily, you can kind of tell where the output is. You don't know what science the lab is using. You don't know which direction the steam is running. You don't know what's in the pipes, right? With alt mode turned on, you can see all of that extra information. So you guys can see why I love it. The next thing that's going to be helpful, we haven't had to do it yet, but you're going to be doing it all the time as you play, and that's clearing your cursor. So you're going to grab something. In this case, they grabbed 8 iron plates. You might use some of it. You might use like 5 of it or whatever. It's really common to do things like grab a whole bunch of belts, right, from your inventory, and then you'll place a whole bunch of belts. And when you're done placing the belts, you still might have a whole bunch of belts left over just chilling in your hand, right? So you push Q to clear your hand, and it will take whatever's in your hand and put it back into your inventory. Simple as that. So yeah, when holding an item, you can clear it using Q, which will return it to whatever slot you pulled it from in your inventory. It also cancels rail planning, it also cancels wire dragging, and it also cancels selection boxes. So basically, if you want to stop whatever it is you're doing, Q. Alright, bulk crafting. This I kind of already covered as well. So when you are hovering over something in your crafting menu, you can right click, like I said, in order to craft 5 of it, if you have the materials to craft 5 of it. So in this case, they're hovering over the labs. They have the enough inventory to craft 6 of them, so if they right click on it, it will craft 5 labs. And then if they right click on it again, it will craft just 1, because that's all they have materials for. If you shift left click, it will craft everything it can. So it will craft all 6. If you shift left click on the stone furnaces here, it will craft all 19. Alright, inserters. I feel like this will be better to go over in a different tutorial level. We're not going to cover inserters in this tutorial level, so I'm just going to go ahead and stop here. Alright, so put the iron ore into the resource slot. So you can manually click it and place it if you want to, which is what it asked us to do. Something else you can do is you can control left click and it will automatically just place the whole stack in there. A stack being, in the case of ore, you can have 50 ore taking up 1 square of your inventory. That's called a stack. So you control left click and it will put the entire stack in there. You can control right click to put in half a stack in there. You can control left click to grab stacks. You can control right click to move half stacks. It's fun stuff. Or you can just drag and drop like what it expected, right? So yeah, so we put our ore in here and now it says put fuel into the stone furnace. You can use coal or wood. Now, I prefer coal. And the reason for that is, let me go ahead and mine like 2 coal here. And let me cut down a tree. You can do that by right clicking as well. And now we have some wood. So if we hover over the coal, you can see that when you burn coal, it produces 4 megajoules of energy. Now you don't really need to know much about this whole megajoules business. Just know that when you burn fuel, it gives you 4 units of energy. Burn coal, sorry. When you burn wood, it only gives you half that. It only gives you 2 megajoules of energy. So if you want to power this stone furnace, you would need to feed it twice as much wood as you would coal. So better to use coal if you can. Since we have coal, we would want to use coal. It doesn't burn as fast as wood does. It lasts longer, so you don't have to babysit the furnace as much. So let's close our inventory here. I'm going to just mine like 3 more coal just to get nice round 5. There we go. And then you can open it up and place the coal here if you want. Later on down the line, what you're going to end up doing is you're just going to open up your inventory, or again, down here, the game will eventually unlock this shortcut bar. You'll grab the coal, right, from your shortcut bar or your inventory, and then you can control left click just to put it right in. You don't have to open it. So I'm going to push Q to clear my inventory, and I'm going to show you exactly how I did that one more time. So push E to open your inventory, left click to grab the coal, push E to close your inventory, and then you can control left click to just dump the coal right in, to dump the whole stack right in. So the stone furnace is now smelting the iron ore into iron plates. Now I used control left click to put all 5 coal in. If I used control right click, again it will move half a stack. So I'll still have some coal left in my hand after it puts in 2 in that case, right? Because 2.5 isn't really a thing in Factorio. At least not when it comes to dumping stacks of stuff in. Alright, so stone furnace is now smelting the iron ore into iron plates. Lovely! And you can see with alt mode on, it is smelting iron plates. So I feel quite tired from all this mining. I wonder if it could be automated. So it's smelting plates. Let's see if it gives me some instructions. There we go. Take the smelted iron plates from the stone furnace. Lovely. So again, you can open it and you can see it's got 5 iron plates here now. It converted our ore into plates, and you can see it only burned like 1 coal. And it's mostly done burning a 2nd coal. If we used wood, would have been a lot. You know, it would have used like 3 wood. So we can grab it and move it to our inventory manually. Or, again, without even opening it up, you can control left click to just grab all of it. Or you can control right click to grab half of whatever it's produced. So if you're holding something in your hand, like coal, so I'm going to mine a coal. If you're holding a coal in your hand and you control left click, it will put whatever's in your hand into the thing you're interacting with. If you don't have anything in your hand, so push Q to clear your hand. If you don't have anything in your hand and you control left or right click, it's going to take whatever this building has produced out of the building and put it into your inventory. So that depends on whether or not you have something in your hand. This is all going to become automatic after a little while, so don't worry if you feel like it's a lot of controls. You're going to be doing these controls a lot. It's going to be very repetitive. It's going to become muscle memory. Anyway, so now it wants us to craft a burner mining drill. A burner mining drill will mine automatically. It will burn fuel to mine a resource. So that way we don't have to manually mine it. So a burner mining drill now shows up here in our crafting abilities. And a burner mining drill requires 3 iron plates, 3 iron gear wheels, and a stone furnace. So once we have all 3 of those things, we can craft a burner mining drill. And something else that I like a lot is below the actual ingredients it needs, it tells you the total raw resources you need. Because when you go to craft something, if you don't have, let's say, the 3 iron gear wheels, right? But you have the 9 iron plates, it will craft the intermediary requirements or ingredients for you before finally crafting the burner mining drill. So all I need really is 9 iron plates. And it will craft the iron gear wheels that I need. It will use the 3 other iron plates. It will build a stone furnace as long as I have 5 stone. And then it will craft the burning mining drill. Now the 3 iron gear wheels, like I said, it's an intermediary thing. It's something that is a requirement in order to build this thing. Each iron gear wheel requires 2 iron plates. So again, if we hover over this, 3 iron gear wheels, 3 times 2 is 6, plus 3 is 9, so that's why the total raw is 9 iron plates. So anyway, so we need to get more iron plates, which means we need to mine more iron. And, well, actually we don't. We have enough iron plates, because we already have the 2 gear wheels and we have 5 plates. So all we need now is the 5 stone, actually. So we're going to mine 5 stone. 1, 2, or we can even pick up our stone furnace there and use it. But I'm going to go ahead and mine the 5 stone, because I'm going to want to keep this. So you can see here, I now have the ability to craft one. I don't have to craft the other gear wheel and the stone furnace and then craft this. I can just click this, and you can see it crafted the gear wheel, it crafted the stone furnace, and then it crafted the burner mining drill. And the intermediate crafts went really quickly, so you might not have seen with how fast it went. But now that we've got this, you can see now it's unlocked the quick, like, shortcut bars down here, the shortcut menu. So you can take things from your inventory and place them in the shortcut menu, so that way you don't have to open your inventory to access it, right? So I can access the burner mining drill now by just clicking on it down there. I don't need to open my inventory anymore. Lovely. And if you run out of burner mining drills by placing it, so I'm going to go ahead and just place it here, you can still see it takes up a slot. So next time I build a burner mining drill, it will just automatically appear in my shortcuts, which is lovely. Love it. All right, so we have a burner mining drill. Now it wants us to fuel it, right? So let's go ahead and grab 5 coal and we'll fuel the mining drill. Now in these early stages of Factorio, you're going to be manually feeding coal into a lot of things, right? Because it's not all automated yet. So I like to put the coal here in the shortcut area as well, so I can just grab coal and then control left or right click, dump some coal in there. There's also other ways to dump things too. Like if you want to dump just one single item from your hand, hold on, let me go over this first and I'll teach you the single drop. The mining drill drops mined resources in front of it. So there's a mined iron, right? Lovely, a mined iron ore. So it's there on the ground. Anyway, if you want to drop just one thing in your hand into a building, you can push Z on your keyboard and that just drops one. So control left click to put the entire stack in, control right click to put half your stack in, push Z or Z just to drop one in. All right, excellent. So now we want to pick up the item that was mined by the mining drill. You can push F in order to pick things up off the ground. You can also right click it, but it's, it's a tiny little thing. So if your mouse accuracy is not great, no worries. Just stand nearby and push F, and now you've picked it up. Lovely. I could build something here to collect the resource from the mining drill. So I can craft a wooden chest, right? So a wooden chest requires 2 wood. Lovely. Well, I already got some wood before from the previous example, so I can go ahead and craft a wooden chest. Now I can build the wooden chest under the drop position of the mining drill. So I'm going to go ahead and put the chest into my quick bar. I'm going to place it there. And now the mining drill can deposit its ore into the chest, and it doesn't stop mining until the chest is full. When it drops an item onto the ground, it can only drop, I think, up to 2 items on the ground, and then it just stops. But you put a chest in front of it, and now it can mine until the whole chest is full. And wooden chests can hold plenty. Other bigger chests, like iron chests and steel chests, they can hold even more. So yeah, now it's got like 8 ore in there, 9 ore in there almost. There it is, the 9 ore. So yeah, so now we're going to take all of the items from the wooden chest. So I'm just going to hover over it, control left click, boom, took all of it. I should spend some time exploring this strange place. Victory. Alright, so again, it's a really simple tutorial level. The reason why it's taking a while for me to explain is because I'm trying to explain everything. So I thought in this video I was going to do 2 tutorial levels because I know that this one's really short, but I've been recording for 28 minutes. Wow. I spend a long time talking about stuff. Hopefully it's entertaining. Let me know if I'm over-explaining. Yeah, just let me know if I'm over-explaining. If I'm over-explaining, I will cut back a little bit, and that will make the videos go a little bit faster. Anyway, so yeah, I've been recording for 28 minutes. That's the first tutorial level. Next time on Dave's Grand Adventures of Factorio, we'll do the next tutorial level. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and have a wonderful day.